Before I start, I'd like to firstly acknowledge the traditional owners on the land we meet today, which for us is the Jarrawa and Guyabal people, and I respect those in the room, and certainly I think given today's theme, our emerging leaders we acknowledge here today. As Jen said, I'm with the Local Jobs Program, and some of you may remember who came to the Future of Jobs. So who was here for the last Future of Jobs? I think it's about half the room. Yeah, we got a lot of new faces, which is good. So are you new? Put your hand up. And that means that everybody at least has done some exercise today. Or you're very confused as to whether or not you were here last time or you're new, all right? So thank you. As some of you will remember, I was MC last year as the chair of the Regional Jobs Committee and as the director of the RDA. And at the time, we had been told we had won the DESI contract for the Local Jobs Program, which we had tendered for a couple of months earlier. But the contract wasn't signed, so I had to stand up here and not say anything this time last year, knowing that I would be taking over the Local Jobs Program in the near future. So that's what I want to run through today with you. Just a quick overview of the program. I'm going to share a little bit of employment data with you, and then we've got a couple of key events coming up that I'm hoping we can gain your support, and I'm going to ask a couple of favours. So as Jen said, most of you do know me, and there's plenty of familiar faces in the room that we deal with all the time. And certainly if you haven't engaged with us, we've got some information on the table over there near where Lauren is to grab our business cards and please engage. So under the DESI funded Local Jobs Program, I'm the employment facilitator. You don't need to be taking notes. We've sent these slides to Lauren, but it does run you through what our role is. But basically we're the conduit and connector to business and industry employment programs that are in the region, and also gain intel from the region that we feed back to our DESI representatives, which we have two here today, Maylene and Tanya. So we deal directly with them regularly to let them know what are the challenges that business and industry are facing with regards to employment and skills. I was very lucky to recruit Darren Smith to come on board with me when we took on this program as the support officer. Darren has an amazing background with Golden West and TAFE and knows all of the education and employment programs. So we're a real nice complement to each other. I'm kind of the networker, and he's the one who actually knows how this sector actually works. So Darren's role as the support officer is to assist with rolling out all of the crazy ideas we come up with, either ourselves or as part of our task force. Here are our contact details, but our business cards are also over on that table, and again you'll get a copy of these slides, so you'll have all of those. The Local Jobs Program came about after COVID, and DESI ran out about half of the country, so about 26 sites. They started a Local Jobs Program almost 2 years ago. We weren't one of those because we didn't actually struggle from COVID as much as some other regions. So we were in the second tranche, which was last year. The Darling Downs became a Local Jobs Program, which is kind of awesome because we've been able to learn from the mistakes and the challenges and also some of the successes from those that were in the first tranche. There's three key elements, which is Darren and myself being the paid representatives for the program. We have a task force, which I will talk about in a moment, and we also have a local recovery fund that we have access to actually roll out some programs to help people get into employment. So our region is slightly different to the Regional Jobs Committee, and our role is slightly different. So obviously the Toowoomba Regional Jobs Committee, funded by DESMIT, is for the Toowoomba Local Council footprint. Our footprint is Gatton through to Roma and St George, which again is slightly different from the RDA one, which goes even a bit further west and includes all the way out to Quilpie and Thargomindah. So this is our employment footprint for this program. We do work very well with any of our neighbouring local jobs programs. So we've got quite a few that neighbour us, and the employment facilitators all keep in contact regularly and refer businesses and programs to each other. So if you have got a footprint just outside of that and you want to get in touch with one of the other local jobs programs, please let us know and we'll put you in touch with the right person. We work very well together. The other difference probably between the Regional Jobs Committee and ourselves is that the Regional Jobs Committee is originally meant to be more long-term workforce strategised, looking at a strategy for more the long-term solutions to make sure we've got what we need for major projects that are going to get rolled out in the future. Whereas our program certainly is more focused on who's on the current caseload, who's on current employment benefits, and what do we need to do to be assisting them to be right for business and industry and fill those roles that you have. So it's a place-based program, hence why we have 2 people locally based that already have a network across the region, and that we're all about getting people into employment and training in a shorter time frame. Okay, they're just a few of the program objectives. So as I said, getting the greatest number of people into employment or into upskilling or into pre-employment programs so that they are better prepared to be successful once they hit your businesses. And then there's also that feeding back to the federal government, as I said, and thank you for our DESI reps who are here today. So part of our, under the local jobs program is we have a task force, and I have a couple of our task force members here. I've got Tanya from Multicultural Australia, Mike from Disco, and if I miss somebody, I'm going to be in trouble. Claire, thank you, Claire. Claire from state government, who are on our local task force. So we've got representatives from across the region who feed into us what's going on and help us plan for programs to better assist those looking for work. Part of that is also we have a local jobs plan. So the current local jobs plan had 3 priorities. They were pre-written by DESI before we started in the program. One of them is getting more people into apprenticeships and making those apprenticeships stick. There's one in there also about just in case we have mass retrenchments, the local recovery program is able to respond and react to that. And the third is about having more programs that are helping people be skilled and upskilled. Our task force have added 2 priorities to the local jobs plan, and they're currently under review by DESI, and hopefully we'll have a new local jobs plan with those 2 added. And they are that barriers to employment. We can have more programs around addressing barriers to employment. And the other one that we've added in there is assisting businesses and industries in being trained and ready to be more open to different people and different sorts of areas for recruitment and retention. As I said, we've got a local recovery fund that's attached to this program. So $390,000 a year per year for the next 4 years is attached to our program for initiatives that are filling that gap that will assist somebody currently on a benefit of some sort, an employment benefit, to get into work. So if you're a business that has, regularly 10 to 20 jobs, or you're an industry group that has, sort of those sorts of numbers, and you're like, look, if they could just have this certificate, I know that they're going to be more successful. Or what I find is those that come to us from an employment service provider is always missing these items. So if there was potentially a training program that we could put around filling that missing link, then that could get funded out of the local recovery fund. So a good example is we have John Holland, the jail just down the hill here, that are needing a whole heap of people. Their employment service providers are able to provide them with their PPE. We've got some pre-employment programs that are being able to be delivered by DGT. But what we find is jails are not conveniently put where people live. So getting to the jail to work is sometimes quite difficult. Funny enough, we don't want to change the placement of the jail, and we're happy for it to be away from populated areas, but we do need to get staff out there. And a lot of those who are currently on an employment benefit of some sort don't have transport. So the bit that the local recovery fund may be able to fund and assist there is some transport to and from the place of employment whilst those people earn some income and then find their own longer term solution to transportation. So that's an example of where the Local Recovery Fund might be used. And the reason I share this with you is I'm sure in the room we have people who know or have an idea of something that would assist more people into employment. And if you've got an idea that you think, hey, if they could just have this, we would get more of them more successfully placed, then you need to be talking to Darren and I some stage today. So that's why we wanted to share that Local Recovery Fund idea with you. There is also a bigger fund called the National Priority Fund, and it gets opened nationally for really big systemic projects that's going to address barriers to employment. We will certainly be letting you know when that opens again if you've got a bigger project, but the smaller local projects fall under the Local Recovery Fund. All right, I want to quickly just run through some data with you. Nationally, most of you would know the unemployment rate is 4.0%, except Darren saw some, he's our data king, he saw a news article yesterday to say that we have actually dropped to 3. We're starting with a 3 now. 3.9? 3.9. So already this slide, which is only a week or two old, has already been updated, and we are actually under 4%. So, you know, this is what we consider almost full employment. For the Darling Downs region, so not Toowoomba, we're sitting at 6.8%, and our youth unemployment is at 11%. And Toowoomba, just to compare, is at 4.9%. And one of the reasons why days like today is so important is, being that we're almost at full employment, we do need to consider something different to fill these jobs. And I believe this afternoon's activity and sessions is going to be exactly about that. So I hope you got your brains on for Jen's facilitated session this afternoon, because we're not going to fill all the jobs that are needed in this region from the current caseload. Okay? Another little bit of a data here is about the breakdown of the current caseload, and I just wanted to point a couple of figures out to you. The bottom line there, if you can't see it, is the 12 months plus figure. So those who are either on a job active payment, transition to work, or a parent's next payment, those that have been unemployed for longer than 12 months actually make up 74% of the current caseload. And what that means is, we've got people who want jobs in that current caseload, but they come with some other barrier. They're going to need some more intensive work to get them into employment because they haven't been able to find it in the last 12 months. And that's, again, why we need you in the room and your brains on this afternoon to work out what else we could be putting in place to make sure that we can get these people into employment. The other figure that I find quite interesting there is, quite often we look at Toowoomba and the amount of refugees and migrants that we have. Those with a disability is a higher number on our current caseload than those from a refugee or migrant background. And I think there's a real opportunity for us to be working with business and industry to be more open to taking on those with a disability and getting them into employment. So I just wanted to flag a couple of those for you before this afternoon's session. The other one that we find quite interesting, and I know Jen's going to refer to it again this afternoon, is this first graph closest to me shows the current national caseload and what skill level they're at. So skill level 5 is maybe they barely finished year 12, and skill level 1 is they've been to university and had a degree. Now, as you can see, a lot of our current caseload is in level 5, okay? They haven't done a certificate, they may not have finished year 12, they certainly need some more education or skilling up. The graph furthest away from me is the online internet advertised jobs. And the majority of the online advertised jobs at the moment are asking for skill level 1. So for us to take those on employment benefits that are mainly a level 5 and get them to a level 1 is probably a challenge we are not going to be able to solve. By getting them from a 5 to a 4, and you can see there is some advertised jobs from a 4, there is an opportunity there for us to get those people into employment. A couple other things that we've got going on in the employment space is, if you're not aware and you don't usually deal with this space, there has been a complete changeover by DESI in those that are classed as a job active, or the new program is going to be Workforce Australia. We have 3 employment service providers in our region, and none of our current employment service providers were given new contracts. We've got 3 new incoming employment service providers starting 1 July. And that's a period of disruption at the moment that we need to be aware of. We are aware of it, and we're wanting to really work with business and industry, and we've got an event coming up to help business and industry fill jobs during this period of transition that I wanted to talk to you about. But I just want you to be aware that we've got 3 new players coming in. There's a whole new system under Workforce Australia. Desi truly believe that this system is going to better service our job seekers and better service business and industry. But the transition phase, of course, is going to be a period of disruption, so just be a little aware of that over the next couple of months. And we're certainly here to help you through that period. A couple of events we got coming up. For those of you who are in a business in the care industry, health industry, services industry, or you deal with businesses that are in that industry, there's a really good workforce planning workshop coming up on the 31st of May. It was not going to be coming to Toowoomba, and the lovely Natalie up the back there from the Building the Local Care Workforce and the Local Jobs Program fought to get this workshop here to Toowoomba as well, so you didn't have to do it online and you can get value from doing it face to face. Please, if you're interested in that, talk to us about some more information, or you can search it and register for it. It's all about businesses having some workforce planning within their business, and we highly recommend you register for that. The other big one, and there's a sheet on your table, is because we are going through this period of transition, we've got a jobs fair coming to our region for businesses who are looking for the filling roles. So I know not all of you are business owners yourself, some of you just deal with a lot of businesses. If you're dealing with a business and they're using the words lots of vacancies, can't fill jobs, straight away that should be a red flag for you to let them know that they should probably register and have a stall at the jobs fair on the 7th of June. It is only 10 till 2:30, so it's not a massive ask for businesses to give up like a whole week or a couple of days, but they can register for free, and then Desi will be sending out SMSs and a whole heap of other information to job seekers to make sure that they get there that day and you can have a look. Now, as I said, that's not going to be the answer to all your job filling challenges, but certainly the other jobs fairs, there have been businesses who have interviewed somebody on the day and filled the roles right there and then. So please, if you've got a business you're dealing with and you know they're struggling to fill roles, that one's on your table. Please recommend for them to go to the jobs fair and register for it. We have a few different social media channels, so look up the Local Jobs Program, Darling Downs on Facebook or on LinkedIn. Please follow us. Look, I'm not going to open up to questions right now because I know we're time poor and Jen's keeping an eye on the time over there, but Darren and I are here all day. We're going to be facilitating some of the sessions this afternoon with Jen. So please, Darren Smith or myself, come talk to us about any ideas you've got in the meantime today. And our contact details will be sent through from Lauren so that you can be in touch. I will leave you with one thought. Please make the most out of today. We need your intel, we need your thoughts, your knowledge, your information, your solutions. Nothing is a crazy idea at the moment. We want you to bring them to us, and if we can make them fit, and maybe if we can even make them fit under the local recovery fund and put some funding towards them, then that's a win for job seekers and it's a win for business and industry. Thank you.